Hey everybody, my name's Keith. This is my 1989 Lotus Esprit Turbo. About a week ago, I nearly caught the car on fire. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to tell you what I did to fix the car and to keep that problem from happening again. Last Saturday, my wife and I took the car. We rode to New Bern, which is about 30 minutes from here, and had no problems with the car whatsoever. And on the ride back, still same thing, no problem with the car whatsoever. And Sunday, I get up and take the car and go get groceries. On the way to the grocery store, again, had no problem with the car. I go in and spend about $200 at the grocery store getting things for me and my wife. And when I walk out, I get back in the car, and when I did, this thing was running like a dog.
And that's going on YouTube.
How do you know that's going on YouTube?
Because that's just the stuff that you do.
I mean, it had no acceleration, no get up and go, and I was wondering if I was going to even be able to get out of the grocery store parking lot. It had no power whatsoever. I get the car back home, I get the groceries unloaded. I then take the car and I go move it back in my shop. And when I got in the shop with the car, I started checking things on it. I didn't see anything obvious, and my first thought was that I didn't have any fire. There was no fire possibly coming from the ignition. So I checked each spark plug. I drove the car down the road a couple times to see if it was doing anything different, to just try something out. Like I said, I tried the spark plugs. I swapped the two ignitions around on the car, and still nothing seemed to make the car run any better. And on one of the passes with the car, I got going down the road and I saw flames coming out of the exhaust. And not just flames coming out of the exhaust, but I looked behind my car about 100 meters behind me, and I could see glowing shards of red hot metal still sitting in the road, literally a football field away. And I didn't really know what the problem was. I did have the engine cover off the car, so I was able to look back and see the engine, and I didn't see anything hot on it. So I immediately got the car home, and I was thinking there's probably a problem either in the catalytic converter or in the muffler. So when I did get back home, I took a video of the cat, and this is what I saw. The cat was glowing hot. I took the catalytic converter off, and there was melted metal inside of it. This is the inside. Right here. Chunks. I guess this is platinum, and it decided to give way. Got my finger too. After I smashed my finger, I spent the next 20 or so minutes knocking the remaining metal out of the catalytic converter. I figured that I would not have to worry about any obstruction in the cat ever again. Because of the age of the car, the emissions does not matter in my state. ended up using a metal fork to get all the metal out of it, and I really thought that was probably the problem with the car all along. The exhaust is not glowing red, but it's backfiring. It has no power. So what I wasn't thinking about was what possibly caused the catalytic converter to get so hot to begin with. And what I started thinking that could be was a stuck fuel injector. I don't know what caused the catalytic converter to get hot, other than to think that it may have been the injector stuck open, or at least an injector stuck open, and I was going to try to just do a quick test on them to see if that may have been the case. They should make like a clicking sound or something like that when power is applied to them. So that's what I'm going to do right now to see if one of them sounds any different than the other. Okay, so these are the injectors that came out of the Lotus, and I wanted to test them real quick to see what they sound like. A good injector should make a click noise when power is applied to it. It shouldn't make any other noise. Any other noise might suggest that there might be something internally wrong with it. It's a solenoid that operates off of 12 volts. When power is applied to it, it opens. Here's the first one. Can you hear the click? Here's the next one. And that injector sounds pretty good. This injector is making some kind of a buzzing noise. In case you can't hear that, I'll try to get that a little closer. One of the injectors actually made like a buzzing noise. The other three injectors made like a click when power was applied. The one that made the buzzing noise, I don't know exactly what the problem was, but I do think that it was probably stuck in an open position causing fuel to dump into the exhaust. That unburned fuel transferred into heat and probably caught fire inside of the cat, and that ended up causing the car to run really, really rich, caused the muffler to get really, really hot. I ordered 4 new injectors from a company called Motorsports. They came on Friday. I was able to put them in the car, drove the car seemed to run pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied the problem's fixed.
This car really doesn't need a lot, but there are a few things that I do plan on taking care of. There's a few chips in the paint. There's some simple fiberglass repair underneath the car near the radiator. I'm going to replace the wheel center caps. The passenger window is very slow. The paint needs a good buffing. I'm going to video each of these projects, so if you want to see what it takes to make these repairs to my Lotus, please click the subscribe button and make sure that you like it.